Yo, what is going on, you guys? It's your boy King Sanders here, and we are back with another day of sports betting. This is going to be for Wednesday, April 20th slate of NBA and MLB games. I'm super excited to hop into it. We do have a pretty good slate of both, like I always say, but we truly do. We have 3 NBA games on, and then we have a full slate of MLB pretty much going all night. So we do have a good slate, and I'm excited to dive into it. First things first, I did just want to go ahead and say that we are on the road to 7,000 subscribers. So if you guys are new, make sure you guys do like, comment, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell so you guys know whenever I post. Next thing I did want to do is just give a quick shout out here to all of our members here on the channel. Thank you guys so much for everything that you guys do. And thank you guys so much for giving such a small channel such a big chance, as I always say. The last final thing that I did want to go ahead and address was at the time, or well, probably at the time that you guys are watching this, make sure you guys do go check out Calling Our Shot. Make sure to check out their podcast, because you guys might be seeing a familiar face on there. Not spoiling anything if it hasn't come out yet, but hey, more than likely by the time that you guys are watching this, there will be a podcast up, and you may see a friendly face on there. Just make sure to go check them out for sure. But anyway, let's do a quick recap as of yesterday. We almost brought out the brooms. We almost brought out the shades. We would have been absolutely rocking it. But it is what it is. But we'll go ahead and do a quick recap. We had DeAndre Hunter under 3.5 rebounds here versus Miami at plus 110 odds. Now, that one actually ended up working out for us. DeAndre Hunter actually got into foul trouble, like right in the middle of the third quarter, and he finished with just 2 rebounds. Then we had Karl Anthony Towns over 9.5 rebounds. I have no idea why that was plus 100 odds, but hey, that was free extra cash for me. So he ended up getting it with I think it was 5 or 6 minutes left in the fourth, something like that. But he was able to get that for us. Then we had Jay Crowder over 1.5 assists versus New Orleans. I really thought it was a good spot. I really thought that it was going to be a good play. He finishes right on the hook, finishes with just 1. And truthfully, whenever Booker went down, I thought that would get him more usage, but apparently that was just not the case. So Jay Crowder, that one ended up missing out. But we did have so we technically missed the sweep by 1 assist. But then we did have the Rangers and the Mariners over 7.5 runs. That one did end up working out for us. I think they cashed it in the bottom of the 7th, I believe it was. So that one ended up working out. Then our public fade play that we had was Tigers plus 1.5. The Yankees scored a run in the top of the 9th inning to put them up 2, and the Tigers actually ended up, getting a ground out right at the end of the game. So, it could have changed things around, but they ended up losing by exactly 2. So it is what it is. But let's go ahead and dive into today's plays. Our first play of the day, we're going to be taking the Defensive Player of the Year. We're taking Marcus Smart over 14.5 points here versus Brooklyn at minus 120 odds. Now, I wanted to take a defensive prop, and I don't mind any of his defensive props. Dude's an absolute menace, of course. But I decided to go with the points, and I think that there's a couple good reasons why. First things first, I truly do think that the Boston Celtics are one of the least selfish basketball teams that still exist as of today. They really love to get their other teammates involved. Of course, Tatum and Brown, they're the stars of the show, but they do love to get their role players involved too, as instead of Brooklyn, who decided to allow Bruce Brown to get three shot attempts the other night. But he is coming off a Defensive Player of the Year award, so maybe that could give a little bit more motivation to him. Maybe he wants to show that maybe he can be more than just a defensive player tonight. So maybe a little added motivation. But in the last 7 games, Brooklyn actually allows the 3rd most points per game to opposing point guards. And Marcus Smart has had a pretty good track record versus Brooklyn as well. He has actually hit this over in 4 of his last 5 games versus Brooklyn, so he's done a very good job. And in the last 3 games, Brooklyn actually has played at the 7th fastest pace in the entire NBA. So with all those stats kind of pointing towards it, I do think Marcus Smart can have another pretty good night and give us 15 points. So we're going to be taking it. Marcus Smart over 14.5 points here versus Brooklyn at minus 120 odds. Now our next play of the day, this is a dude we normally take his under, but we're going with his over today. We're taking Tobias Harris over 1.5 threes versus Toronto at minus 115 odds. Now, if you wanted to just take the point line, go for it. But I'm going to be taking his 3-pointers, and here's why. Now, Tobias Harris versus Toronto, he has been pretty good. He's actually hit this over in 3 straight games versus Toronto, and I think we see more of the same. Also, in the last 7 games, the Toronto Raptors have allowed the 5th most threes per game to opposing power forwards. And in the last 3 games, Toronto allows the 9th highest field goal percentage per game in the entire NBA. So the pretty much just the 76ers, but the 76ers have just been torching this team, and I do think we see more of the same. There's also no Matisse Thybulle. So since there is no Matisse Thybulle, maybe we see more 3-point attempts for a guy like Tobias Harris. So I am kind of banking on that as well. Also, we all know how they play Embiid. They pretty much just get the ball out of Embiid's hands, which is going to make a guy like Tobias Harris shoot more, and he's definitely more of a 3-point shooter than anything else. He does shoot a lot of threes, so hopefully he's able to get this done for us. Tobias Harris over 1.5 threes here versus Toronto at -115 odds. Now, our next play of the day, it's going to be a copy and paste from the other day, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. We're going back to the Bucks, -3.5 here versus my Chicago Bulls at -105 odds. Now, it's going to be the exact same stats as it was before. Bucks are 43, 33, and 1 against the spread in the first quarter, which is the 6th best in the entire NBA. The Bulls are 33 and 45 against the spread in the first quarter, which is the 5th worst in the NBA. The Bucks are 23 and 16 against the spread in the first quarter at home, which is the 5th best in the entire NBA, and the Bulls are 17 and 24 against the spread in the first quarter on the road, which is the 10th worst. And the Bucks, they have covered this exact line in 4 of their last 5 games versus the Bulls. So, and we all know how Chicago is. I'm a diehard Chicago Bulls fan, so I know exactly how they are. They come out super lackluster. They try to make a comeback in the second and third quarter. And then if they don't have a lead, they're getting smoked in the 4th. So it is what it is, but that's going to be the play we're taking. And regardless of if it loses or not, then maybe the Bulls still have a chance. I doubt it, but you never know. So I'm going to be taking it. Rinse and repeat. Bucks -3.5 here versus Chicago at -105 odds. Now our baseball play of the day, MLB play, is going to be the Reds and the Padres. We're taking the over 8.5 runs here at -115 odds. Now, Vladimir Gutierrez is on the mound here for the Reds, and he has had a 5.4 ERA on the year. So he hasn't been his normal self, which is about 4.6, but he has actually been around 5.4 ERA on the year. And Mackenzie Gore for the Padres, he has had a pretty good start to the year. He has had a 3.38 ERA, but I do think that does come up just a little bit more. He was playing the Diamondbacks, so maybe that did influence things just a little bit. But Vladimir Gutierrez versus the Padres has not had a good track record. He has a 10.61 ERA versus the Padres. And no, I'm not kidding. He has a 10.61 ERA versus the Padres. So he has not been great. And both of these games in this series have gone under, and so I do think that things get switched around today. And last game they did finish up at 8 runs, so we're just asking for one more. So we're gonna be riding with it. Reds and Padres over 8.5 runs at -115 odds. Now our public fade play of the day at the time of recording this is at 12:09 a.m. on April 20th. But at the time of recording this, the Pirates. We're going to be taking the Pirates +1.5 here versus the Brewers at +100 odds. And the reason being is because, like I said, at the time of recording this, which is about midnight or 12 in the morning, however you want to word it, on April 20th, there are 907 bets on this game, and 94% of them are on the Brewers. So we're going to be riding with it. We are 3-2 on those plays, so hopefully we can keep it going. But that is going to be our final play of the day. Pirates +1.5 here versus Brewers at +100 odds. So that is going to do it for today's video. If you guys did enjoy, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell so you guys know whenever I post. Like I said, we're on the road to 7,000 subscribers, so make sure that you guys are subbed. I can't really do that without your guys' help. But for now, this is King Standard signing out. Peace.